Yo, what's up my brother, what's up my sister? This is your boy Ntege again with yet another amazing video. In this particular video today, I want you to master frequency separation. Yes, I want you to learn everything that there is to do with frequency separation. There are very many videos right here that explain the frequency separation techniques, but what I've realized, most of them share actions. These actions most of the times may not apply to certain images because of the number of pixels these particular images have. So that's why I've decided to do a new video, that like an updated video of the whole frequency separation process. When you look at this image, I've already done the first panel beating that I usually do to an image. Actually, I explain all the initial steps you do to prepare your image for retouching in the Retouching Secrets masterclass. If you are the kind of person who works mostly with high-end customers, those high-end paying customers, this retouching masterclass is for you. But if you handle average customers and you just do basic retouching, I guess this one will help. But if you want to attract those high paying customers or do high-end images and you want to level up your photography game, the Retouching Secrets masterclass is for you. Actually, click the first link in the description below and of course join the Retouching Secrets masterclass right now. Let us get into this already. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flatten this so that we get it from the very start. For those of you who don't know what frequency separation is, basically frequency separation is where you get the textures on their own layer and you have the colors of an image on their own layer. You look at it this way. Imagine you have a song, and in this song you want to separate the instrumental from the vocals, and you all have those two pieces of the song separated. Now look at the vocals as a frequency and look at the instrumental as a frequency. Now when it comes to photography, the colors are a frequency and the textures of an image are also a frequency. So this particular technique helps us to work on textures as textures and work on also colors of an image as colors of an image. You're getting me? Now this is where I need your maximum attention. Hey, first look here. Now this is what you're going to do. You're just going to come here and duplicate this layer twice, just like that. Okay, now the middle layer is going to be named colors. Okay, then we are going to name the upper layer textures. Every texture that is in the color layer is going to be transferred into the upper layer, and every color that is in the texture layer is going to be transferred into the color layer, so that we have the textures on top and the colors right at the bottom. So what are we going to do now? We're going to come here. Okay, I need your maximum attention. Remove this eye icon here so that we only have the color layer that is visible. So the next thing we are going to do, you come here into filter, you say blur, you say Gaussian blur. Now this is where I need your maximum attention. Hey, first look here, here. Okay, now you see most of the people do that mistake here. This is where I wouldn't advise you to go with the frequency separation actions that don't have a space where you can pause these actions and you adjust this accordingly. Every layer you're going to blur out is going to resurface in this particular layer. Yes, it sounds confusing right now, but as we go on, you're going to get it. Now, if I want to retain all this particular skin texture here, I'll make sure I blur it out here. I make sure I don't see it here. I make sure it is all totally blurred out. You know, I don't want you to cram digits, because when you cram digits and you put this particular same digits on a picture that was shot in full or maybe a half, maybe a wide shot, these particular settings won't work for that particular set, you know, because the textures will be so far away. The pixel distribution will be very spaced out. So this is what I want. You just come and blur out, yes, these particular textures like that. Now these are the kind of textures I want to maintain until I see the textures blurred out. That is, I think I also love these textures. I don't want to let them go, so I'll just come and just increase it just a little bit right there. This is quite a big image, not so big, but you can see it has textures. See how the skin is smooth and how we've smoothened out the texture. So the next thing we are going to do, oh sorry, it's my backup software. So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to come here and say okay. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to come on the topmost layer here and set, which is the texture layer, make it visible again. Then you select it and you come here and say image, yeah, apply image. Okay, now look here again. Let me show you something interesting. Now we are going to subtract all the textures we blurred out from this layer and transfer it to this layer. Now instead of having multiply, we're going to subtract. Okay, you come here and say subtract. Okay, so the next question you'll be asking, okay, now how was it transferred? Okay, this is where it happens. So you're going to come here into here, the merged layer, into this particular section where you see merged layer, and you choose colors, because we are trying to tell Photoshop, hey, transfer all the textures in the upper layer just like that, and we say color. So you leave the scale at 2 and you leave the offset at 128. Actually, if you've never used frequency separation, you're going to find this may turn out to be black screen, but don't worry. What you do, you put the scale at 2 and the offset at 128, leave the opacity at 100. The rest of this, leave the way they are, and then you're going to come here and say okay. Ready? Okay, now look here again. Look here. So this is what you're going to do. You come here and say linear light right here, and we change the blending mode. Now I'm going to put this in a group. Yeah, now when you look at it, it looks like nothing has happened. Yes. Now let me put this in a group. Now this, I'm going to rename this frequency. Yeah, that is what I'm going to rename it. Now when you look at this particular image, look at this. Now this when let me just show you. This is the before, that is the after. When you look at it, there is no change. What does that mean? It means that now the text, this particular image on top of here that I've renamed frequency is similar to the bottom image. It is similar, but the only difference is this one has been separated. We've separated the textures from the colors of the image. Okay, now let us get into the nitty-gritty. Now we're going to first work on the colors of the image. Okay, now we're going to come here, and then you're going to come and say, get your lasso tool, put the feather at 18, depending on the size of the image. If the image is too big, maybe shot with a 5 DSR or something like a Nikon D80, any camera that is above 45 megapixels, you can put it even in 35. You would get very, very beautiful blending. But since this is shot by a Mark III, I'll just have to use 18. 18 is good for me. So what we are going to do, we are just going to come and begin selecting this. Some people use the mixer brush, but the challenge I find with the mixer brush is that you end up, especially around the nose area, if you're not very good of a sculptor, if you're not very good at sculpting these noses, you end up having images where people have similar noses. And when you look at, if you're doing portraits of normal people, ordinary people, they tend not to have the same nose shapes, unless you're doing pictures of models or people who don't want anything that looks like them. The mixer brush would be good, but you have to be very, very good at sculpting, because it somehow distorts the contours if you're not good at it. That's why I use the Gaussian blur, because it is more precise and I can always go back and alter the blur depending on which part I'm editing and how much intensity of the effect I want in that particular zone. Making sense? Okay, let us continue. Now here we go. You come and select here like that, and then you come into filter, you say blur, and then you say Gaussian blur. So what you're going to do, you're just going to come and blur, extend the blur like that until you see the skin getting smooth. In this particular piece, I'm going to take it a bit overboard because I don't know whether the screen is showing you the effect, but I'm just going to take it overboard. That, you know, the sweet spot where you see the skin, you know, blending. Now that is my sweet spot. I'll keep it there. So I'm also going to come around here like that, and then say filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Now when I look at when you do it and lose out to the highlights, now I don't want this effect really where I tend to lose the highlights, because it gives me a flat look and I don't want to lose out on those beautiful highlights of her. So I'll just come and still, you know, just reduce, find a sweet spot where I have the skin smooth but still maintaining those highlights, because I don't want to lose out on her cheekbones. Most people take this process overboard in that somebody loses, the face gets flat and deformed. You know, you don't want to have something that looks like a textured doll. So what you do, you still come here and around this area. Now this time around I'm just going to press Control Alt or Command Option and F to repeat the action. Still I'll just come here around this area and then come into filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And then since the dark stuff here, I'll just come and still give this its own frequency just until, I know this takes time, but at the end of the day, it is worth it. It is super, super worth it. The images you're going to get is very, very beautiful. You know, I think frequency separation revolutionized beauty retouching. You know, just come here, and actually there is also another technique that is that also has the same effects as frequency separation. It's called banning and dodging. For those of you who don't know what banning and dodging is, I go into details into micro banning and dodging in the Retouching Secrets masterclass. For those of you who have enrolled, I'm sure I see your pictures all over Instagram and I'm super amazed by the kind of work you guys are producing. You know, here we go. You come also here and say filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then we come and blur this out. You know, I'm going to keep this a bit fast so that the tutorial doesn't be too long, because I feel it's already long. But at the end of the day, if you've watched this, if you're still watching this, I'm very sure your next images are going to be super awesome. I can't wait to see results. Just tag me. Trust me, I may not comment on to your Instagram images, but I see really, and I'm amazed by some of my students that are in the Retouching Secrets masterclass. The works you're doing are super, super amazing. So we come here and the nose area. Now this is where most people make mistakes. Yeah, they take the nose area overboard. When you look at the nose shape, it's a bit protrudes. So if you don't do it carefully, you end up having a flat nose. Now this is too much for the nose area. I still want the nose highlight here. So I just come and just take it slow, really, right there. Okay. So I'll come and deselect. Let me just come and just push it back right here. Now let me just come and do frequency separation around. Also, I come and work on the colors of this particular part so that I get the skin. Okay, that is very little for that particular. And they come and add it there. One may be wondering, why wouldn't you just select the whole image and apply the blur? Yes, you can do that, but you end up getting the whole image having almost a similar outlook in terms of skin tone, and yet human beings don't have those kinds of skin. You know, especially in the African descent, you realize that certain parts of the face can be lighter than the others. Actually, even on the full body, you realize if somebody may have a dark face, but when you go into the thigh area, you realize they have very, very light thighs or very light arms, because certain parts of the people from the African descent brighten up during puberty, and other parts definitely darken in puberty. I don't know why God created them that way, but that's what happened. That's why I don't use the similar frequencies on similar blurs on the different parts of the face, because I want to have that visual tonal variety in the whole image. Making sense? Okay, now the next thing we are going to do now, we're going to work on the textures. So how do we work on the textures? Now, this time around, I'm just going to create a black and white help layer. What is this black and white help layer for? The black and white help layer definitely is going to help us make the textures that we want to get rid of more pronounced, because I shot using soft light in this particular case, so I don't have the pimples really overly pronounced. You know, if you want the pimples and pores overly pronounced, you use more hard light or keep the light far away from the subject if you want to get those shadows, you know, if you want to get those textures. But I shot with very, very soft light here. So what are we going to do here? You create a black and white layer just like that, and what we are going to do, we are going to crush the reds just like that by pushing the reds forward. See how the textures come on top? So now you see all these big pimples, these ones here, we're going to get rid of them because this layer has made them more visible. So what are we going to do now? You come onto the texture layer and then just, let me just get this. Yeah, and then you just click and edit this out using the spot healing tool. Is it the spot healing? Or is it called the spot healing? Yes, it's the spot healing. So you just come and get rid of these spots, you know. I get into details of how you work onto these spots in the best way, but since I don't want the video to be too long, yeah, I'm not going to really get into the nitty-gritty, but you get the point. I just want you to get the point, you know, because in Retouching Secrets masterclass, I go step by step into everything, because at the end of the day, man, I want you guys to make money out of your photography. And the good thing about high-end retouching is that you don't have even to deliver hundreds of pictures. Usually what I tell my clients, I tell them, hey, when I'm telling them about my package, when they hear you're going to get 3 pictures, they're like, but those are very few. I tell them it's high-end retouching, and it helps you create what they call scarcity. You know, when you show clients that things are there in abundance, they never treasure them. And the only way I make my customers treasure the work I do, value the work I do, is that I try to deliver few number of pictures per shoot. Why? Because I'm creating scarcity. Once you make them feel that you can do pictures in 2 minutes, there are many softwares you can use actually that like portraiture and the like, but they don't give you great results as what high-end retouching techniques really give you, you know. So that's why if you mastered high-end retouching, you're going to attract those high-paying customers that want the best of the best, and 2, you're also going to have to know what to do for any kind of images, you know, no matter what, whether you've lost textures on a dress, whether you want to iron clothes, whether you want to, once you master those techniques, oh my God, the sky is going to be your limit. But anyway, you've seen how we work on the textures. I'm just going to remove the black and white layer, and we see, you know, of course, if we are to go into the details, there are many things. All these white heads are supposed to be removed. Anything that looks the image look cheap, you know, you don't want your images looking cheap like that, you know, because at the end of the day, it is these little things that make you different from your competition. Because a normal photographer, a regular photographer would leave all these things when they're doing high-end retouching. But if you want to do like typical beauty magazine quality shots, glamour shots, man, these details do magic. Okay, now I guess there you have it. I'll come and delete this. There. Now I think there you have it. I mean, look at this. Let me just show you the before. That's the before and that's the after. Before and after. See how we have smoothed out the skin without killing the texture and just giving her a beautiful skin that looks good. Now, that's how we do frequency separation in high-end retouching. I would love to see what results you come out with. Of course, there is more we can do about this image in the next steps and the like, but that is what I wanted to show you today. If you want to master high-end retouching and level up your photography game, come on, enroll into the Retouching Secrets Masterclass. By the way, it is running on promotion right now. I have a special one-time offer. Click the first link in the description below and join the Retouching Secrets Masterclass, and I'll see you there. And adios. Before we dive into this video, please take a minute to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and of course, leave comments below of what exactly has resonated with you. And if you're a beginner photographer or even an advanced photographer and you want to take your retouching to the next level and you want to master retouching, create those high-end fashion magazine quality images, click the first link in the description below and join the Retouching Secrets Masterclass today. Let's get into the tutorial already.